what you own. I put baby straight to sleep like it was melatonin. No, we going back and forth, but bitch better watch your tone.
In this video, I'm gonna show you a couple of mistakes which producers oftentimes make, and I'm gonna focus more on picking sounds with intention, how to leave more space for the artist, and overall how to make more artist-friendly beats. You already heard the beat, so without too much talk, let's just get into the video. Starting off, I went with a softer sound, so I got this Rhodes from Wounch Lizard, and I lay down these chords. So we have a lot of tension in the chord progression and it's very dark. Now if you want to get this dark grimy sound, all you gotta do is use this chord. I basically lay down a simple C sharp minor triad chord. So we have the root, the third and the fifth, and after that I added the 9th degree. So this makes it a minor add 9 chord. And what I did next was just to give the chord a little bit more space. I pitched this up an octave like so, and then I took the third and I pitched that 2 octaves up. So it went from this to this. And as far as the second chord goes, I took the first chord, I took out the middle note or the third, and then I just copied over the chord. I pitched it up 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and after that I just took the middle note and I pitched it up an octave. And for effects, since I wanted to make the Rhodes a little bit more vintage, I added this vintage chorus and the ciki taking out the high end and the low end. I wanted to add a little bit more body to the whole sample, so I pulled up a piano and I'm using Addictive Keys with the Dry Bite preset. I copied the exact same chords as the Rhodes. After that I took out some of the low end because it was clashing with the Rhodes, and then I wanted to take out the high end. Basically I just wanted to target that frequency which has the sounds of the piano keys hitting, so I just took out this high mid frequency. And after that, just to add a little bit more texture, I added this vintage delay, so now the piano and the Rhodes together sound like this. I wanted to make the sample a little bit more cinematic. I pulled up SRX Orchestra and using the first preset, I added these 2 simple notes. I wanted to have the strings a little bit more in the background, so I added this Valhalla vintage reverb, and then I just took out the high end with an EQ so it stays more in the background. Now that was the whole main layer, so moving forward I wanted to add some more vocals. I wanted to add a main melody which is gonna be the catchy part, so I went ahead and I added this vocal stack. Vocals come from Contact and I'm using the Spitfire library. Preset which I'm using is the Hosts, which is a choir preset. All I'm doing here is I just copied the chords, so basically just 3 notes of each single chord, and then I just have it broken down over a couple of layers, so every single layer plays 1 single note. And that's a very cool trick whenever you're layering vocals or strings, because it helps spread out the sound and it just sounds way more realistic. And for the vocals, I'm not using any effects. For the top line melody, I wanted to come up with a melody which is very catchy but also very simple and efficient. If you want more people to actually like your beats and use them, you just want to aim for this very simple catchy melody which is gonna carry the whole sample. I just picked up my guitar and I was messing around just using a couple of notes, and this is the whole main idea. And to make every single melody that you make even more catchy, you just want to have an A section and a B section. So you just want to have a melody which has a call and then you have a melody which responds. But since the guitar on its own kind of sounded weak, and I wanted to experiment a little bit and just basically make a sound which is not distinguishable, like you cannot tell what this instrument is. So basically I just took the same melody, I transcribed it into the piano roll, and I started layering it with all kinds of instruments. So first off, I open up Contact, the Vintage Horns preset bank, and I'm using this horn preset. After that, from the exact same bank, I pulled up this trumpet. And finally, for the final layer, I pulled up this flute since I wanted something which is a little bit more airy and it's gonna add a little bit more high end to the whole layer. And once I layered everything together, I didn't even feel the need to add effects, so I just let it play. After that, like every single sample, we needed a bass line and something to fill out the low end. So I pulled up Flex using the BB Flat 180 preset. All I'm doing is I'm just following the root notes here, and in between I'm just adding these licks just to spice it up a little bit. I'm using Fruity Fast Distortion just to saturate the bass a little bit more. After that, I'm using Guitar Rig 6 and an EQ just getting out the high end. The sample wasn't sounding as sampled and it just didn't have enough texture, so I added this drum break. And then I applied this EQ, which turned it into a percussion loop, and then I added white noise, a jazz brush just to give it a little bit more movement, and a vinyl texture. But I wasn't done yet, so I wanted to make it even more vintage, even more saturated. So I added my vintage effect chain of plugins, which goes like this: a V76 preamp, a COA2A compressor, and tape saturation. And then, just to degrade the quality of the sample a little bit more, I added this good Hertz Velocity 3. Everything added together, this is how the final sample sounds like. So I just got the sample, I pitched it down too to match the acapella, and I chopped it up a little bit. And after that, I added drums from my free drum kits. You can go get them in the description. But since the whole point of the video is just to keep things simple and open for an artist, I added this very simple kick pattern, this very basic snare, two-step hi-hats with a couple of rolls, a cowbell playing every 4 bars just to make it a little bit more bouncy, and then an open hat which hits on the 1. On its own, the drums sound like this. And with that being said, let's hear the final song.
I sit back, make it clap, I can put you on. I put babies to sleep like it was melatonin. No, we going back and forth, but bitch better watch your tone. Hate me, give me headaches, but I love me, give me tone.